When the holidays start to feel a bit repetitive, reach for a Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry and put your twist on tradition. A bold cranberry and winter spice flavor fusion, Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry is a refreshing way to shake things up this sipping season. And only for a limited time. Sprite, obey your thirst.
This episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. Psst, healthcare pros, word's out, and it's too good to keep quiet. Look, LinkedIn is revolutionizing job hunting, making it possible to search by specialty, shift preference, and salary. Endless scrolling is out. Whether it's a mental health therapist or dental hygienist, finding the perfect role is faster and easier than ever. Head to linkedin.com/healthcare and start your search today.
My name is Ryan Peck.
And I'm Nicole Barlow.
And this is Soundtrack Your Life, where we speak with a guest about a soundtrack that is important to them. Our guest today is author Eric G. Last year, he wrote a book called The Power of Personality. Welcome, Eric.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me and getting to talk about something other than my book. Even though I will talk about my book, but I think talking about music and movies is more fun, I think. At least for me.
Well, we'll get there, but let's let our audience know a little bit about your book, and we'll talk about how it's kind of permeated pop culture a little bit.
Yeah, it's a personality typing book. I know people get all like, oh man, another personality types thing, but I try to make it fun and also kind of play off of different people's intuition, right? I think we've all met thousands of people in our lives, and I think my book is more about telling stories and using pop culture references. I use that quite a bit in the book to help people kind of understand patterns of behavior, so that hopefully you'll start connecting with some of the patterns and start seeing those patterns in the people closest to you, including yourself. So my book is basically teaches people to be the test, because I'm not a big fan of like putting people into boxes. I'm more like figure out more and learn more about people based on the new things that you see and the new things that you observe. And then, your impression of someone might change.
Yeah, and so your book is kind of used in an episode of Mythic Quest. There's a whole episode about how all these characters take a personality test. It's part of like their employee evaluation, and a lot of people have problems with what they've been assigned, and some people take what they're assigned to seriously. And it's a really funny episode. It's one of the more memorable episodes in season 2. It is season 2, episode 5, called "Just Sign It" if people are interested. And so how did that kind of happen?
I mean, it's really basic. My friend was working on Mythic Quest, and she wrote that episode. It's a funny story though, because it was prior to me writing the book. I owned an education company, and I developed this personality typing methodology for my teachers to work with their students. And at the time, I was writing scripts myself and trying to get like a TV pilot sold. And my friend was just like, like whenever we go to bars and you start this conversation with personality types, people can't stop talking about it, because I think people like talking about themselves, right? And they ask, oh, wait, what am I? And then they want to talk about. So I ask them questions, right? Everyone wants to answer questions about themselves. And so she was like, yeah, you should write a book on that. I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm still writing my script about like a sex-addicted rabbit, trying to get that sold. It didn't. And so she basically took the ideas about the animal types and kind of changed some of them to make them funny, and put it into her show that she was working on, because she had introduced it in the writer's room, and the other writers thought it was really funny and really just fun in general. And then once she did that, then I was like, okay, now is the time I guess I should write a book on this and get it sold. And so I pitched it that way, as featured on Apple TV's Mythic Quest. And hey, I got an agent and a publisher. So, thumbs up to all of us.
Yeah, and if you're not familiar with Mythic Quest, it is a show on Apple TV by Rob McElhenney and the It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia crew. So he stars in it. He created with Charlie Day and Megan Gantz, who is a writer on It's Always Sunny as well. So a lot of that DNA is in the show. And this episode with the personality test, like you cannot, like the whole episode is about, hey, sign off on your employee evaluation so I can get you out of the office. And they're like, well, I didn't like being, I don't like being an ape. And they're like, just sign it. Like, doesn't matter. Like, it's just something they wanted to throw into the evaluation. Like, and then you have characters taking it too seriously, and you have Danny Putty and this other character like circling the office like I'm gonna destroy you because you're just a mouse. And
that comes from real life, actually, the people not liking their animal types, because my friend and I, we've been in bars talking to people, and not every animal is an attractive animal, I guess you could say. Mine is not either. I'm a baboon type, and that's like super not flattering. So for anyone who gets mad that they get a beaver, yeah. So the fox, clearly people are like, I want to be a fox, or I want to be a shark, because they sound strong. So I've had people get mad at what animal they bought, and so I think she put that in the show.
What do you say back to them? Hey, no, it's okay. A baboon actually has some really great traits. What's your talk you down?
I just say suck it up. No, I actually generally, like, if it's a beaver, I try to focus on, look, beavers build dams for people. Like, they work really hard. Yeah, there's a reason why the animal type has been used for that personality. It's because it kind of symbolizes some of maybe the weaknesses, but also some of the strengths. Like, a shark is strong, but of course, they're also very narrow focused, like an actual shark. And that can be a bit of a weakness as well. So I think in general, people complain, but it's more of a superficial complaint. Like peacocks, and people don't like being peacocks, and then they protest very loudly. And I'm like, okay, well, clearly you're living up to everything a peacock would do. So
that's awesome.
Outed yourself as being a peacock. I once did a pop culture personality test online that told me I was Tyrion Lannister, but I don't watch Game of Thrones, and I don't know what that.
The funny thing is, I have a Game of Thrones test on my website. And once again, these tests are all like cookie cutter. And I know it's funny coming from someone who wrote a book on personality types, but people buy these books and they have these personality tests like right in the front that have maybe 60 questions, 100 questions. People take it and then they're like, okay, this is what I am. And then the whole book is filled with prescriptions. But I'm like, well, what if you get the diagnosis wrong, right? So in my book, there's actually not a test. There's a test on my website because everyone has to have some CTA or call to action. But for the most part, I wrote the book to be the test, and hopefully people just read that and understand the methodology better, so they don't just get, like, oh, I'm Tyrion Lannister, I don't even know what that means. But if you did get that, maybe you are. Like in my test, you would be a chimpanzee. I don't know if you find that flattering or unflattering. Oh, you like it? That's cool.
Be a beaver, but again, you can't choose your animal. Your animal chooses you.
Yeah, you can't. And you definitely don't seem like a beaver. I mean, by the way, I mean that in a good way. And I'm not dissing beavers, but beavers tend to be very serious. Unless you are a serious person? Are you someone who
this podcast is going to prove to you that I am not.
Okay, then that sounds a lot like. I mean, I guess you haven't seen Game of Thrones, but Tyrion Lannister is kind of a mischievous, subversive, jokey. I won't say goofy, but have you ever done cosplay before?
I have not done cosplay, but I am a writer. I dabble in a bit of comedy here and there.
That sounds a lot like. I mean, that sounds a lot like a chimpanzee.
I accept that. See, I accept my animal assignment.
I was hoping that you were going to say that you have done cosplay, and then we would have completely derailed the podcast diving into that. But
it would have been a half an hour of like, wait a minute,
right?
Yeah.
If you had this podcast,
I thought I knew you.
I thought we were close.
If you had to do cosplay or got an opportunity, who would you cosplay as?
Who would I cosplay as? Oh, I don't even know. I feel like cosplay is strictly for people that are really into anime. Is that wrong? Is that like the wrong thing to think about cosplay? That's very narrow-minded. It's not.
You're actually the wrong person. I know nothing about either anime.
I know that's popular in Japan.
Right. I'm not Comic-Conning it.
But I mean, isn't like Renaissance fair stuff like cosplay too? So
yeah,
what are you hinting at, Ryan? Are you hinting at the 2 times that I've been to a Ren fair?
Well, I mean, you did just mention Game of Thrones.
And I have been to 2 Ren fairs, and I did dress up.
You've been to 2? You did? Oh, well, that's cosplay right there. That counts as cosplay. You dressed up.
Does that count? It's casual though. It wasn't serious.
It's at least it's more than dabbling. It's like a step beyond dabbling.
Yeah, it didn't look good, Eric. It wasn't great.
Well, I'm sure you sold the act.
Nicole doesn't want to comment on it.
Oh no, I mean I'm accepting. I'm getting used to being a chimpanzee. You got to give me a minute. I'm absorbing this information.
If you were dressed up as a wizard, then you would 100% be a chimpanzee. But
I was not a wizard or a mage or anything of that.
Were you like an elf?
No, I think I was just a general maiden.
Oh, okay. Well, that's harder to read for personality typing.
Amazon Prime shipping maiden.
For $20, you get like a green dress and like a little floral. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It wasn't good, Eric.
Okay, well, no, I'm not judging. I've never done cosplay before. I didn't even dress up for Halloween, so that's how boring my personality type is, apparently.
Well, we'll see what presents itself during the course of this conversation about the really great movie that you picked today.
Yeah, let's see what animal I get in the end of the episode.
I will definitely guess.
People will stay tuned, and at the end of the episode, Eric will guess my animal.
I will.
All right, so obviously this is a soundtrack podcast, so we are going to talk about a movie today. So, Eric, you picked Doug Liman's 1999 film Go.
Yeah, it was one of those films that I grew up. I mean, everyone loves Pulp Fiction, right? Well, I would say everybody, but I think most people who grew up in that time period love Pulp Fiction. That's what actually made me want to be a writer, and I wrote many terrible scripts where people have way too much dialogue because I thought my dialogue was just as cool as Tarantino's, and I look back and I realized it was terrible. And then all the interconnected stories, and I feel like Go was one of those things where people threw it away, like as kind of like that other movie, 2 Days in the Valley, where they're like, oh, it's just like like a carbon copy of Pulp Fiction, or what do they call it? Gosh, I can't even think. Someone's just copycat. And I think it has a lot going for it, the music especially, and I think it brings back this time where I was definitely not one of those cool people in high school who'd go to raves or get invited to things like that. But watching Go made me feel cool. I'm like, oh, okay, like this is what people are doing. I might have been a little too young to take X and all that stuff at the time, but I think it really does encapsulate that moment in really like maybe even just 98 to 2000, really. It was only like 2 or 3 years where we had that moment of like raves and, the mid-drifts and No Doubt really big, or was really big at the time. So that's why I chose it.
Yeah, I think if some movies are timeless, this movie is a time capsule. It is an exact depiction of this subculture from 1999 that you can kind of key into if you were there. To me, it feels pretty accurate, at least from like a vibe perspective. The music is really well curated. You have Fatboy Slim on the soundtrack. You have No Doubt, as you mentioned. It is quintessentially 1999. For me, the three biggest 1999 things are the CK1 reference, the presence of Jay Moore, which is very hardcore 1999, and the fact that 20 tabs of E would have equated to $100.
Oh yeah, that's a bargain.
I was like, wow, 1999.
99 prices. That was pre what's that, the Y2K.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
My allergy medicine costs more than 20 tabs of E in 1999,
Right? Inflation.
And I bet it doesn't make you feel the same. Or maybe it does. I don't know.
Well, Sarah Pauli's selling it to me. It might just be allergy medicine.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not pure uncut antihistamine.
That's another. I mean, the cast is so awesome. Like, I love Sarah Pauli, and I think it's great. Like, I love the movie that she did a couple years ago. It's one of my favorite films of the year. So I think it's really like Sarah Pauli, Katie Holmes, Timothy Olyphant in a great role as that drug dealer. Melissa McCarthy in a random cameo where she gets like 10 seconds of screen time. Scott Wolf. And I don't know if anyone knows who William Fichtner is, but he has that great role where he's playing the guy who, there's that twist. I don't know if I want to ruin it or not, but yeah, basically, you think he's gay,
Oh, no, ruin
and then
it.
the guy's like
It's
really
from
scared.
1999,
Oh yeah,
Eric. Ruin
Oh,
it.
and he's married to Jane Krakowski out of all
yes.
people.
Oh yeah, Jane Krakowski, right, where she's flirting
Right.
with Scott Wolf, and then you think he's gay and hitting on Jay Moore, and then there's the twist where we realize, oh no, Jay Moore and Scott Wolf are a couple.
Yeah.
When he knew that white wine paired with ham, and he answered in like 5 seconds or 5 milliseconds, we should have guessed that.
I did like the twist that they were just selling a competitor to Amway to them.
Right. It was just an MLM pitch. It wasn't what it seemed, but you
It wasn't Amway; it was Confederated Products, or
Right.
Confederated
It was a
Products.
competitor
It's
of
Confederate
Amway.
Products. Yeah.
There's that joke. You're selling as Amway? No, not Amway. Confederated Products.
There's a great track too that's actually not on the soundtrack, but I love the soundtrack or the music in the movie because of that. They have Massive Attack, which was one of my favorite albums, Massive Attack's Mezzanine, and they have the song Angel that's playing because that came out in 99. Or no, Mezzanine came out in 98. And I think that's the song that's playing when Timothy Olyphant is stripping Sarah Pauli down to make sure she doesn't have a wire. So he blasts it really loud. I remember watching that in the theater, and I don't know, it's just a great track. I believe the track is Angel from Mezzanine.
Yeah, Mezzanine is an all-timer of an album. Really
So
holds
good.
up.
Yeah. There's Mezzanine, and then they also have Air on the soundtrack.
Right?
Yes. Air.
So you got some high culture there.
Yeah, right before, I think that was before the Virgin Suicides. I think Virgin Suicides was the next year. And so I think that's what kind of vaulted Air into the stratosphere.
Yeah, that sounds right. The Sofia Coppola bump.
Yeah, just gotta do that since she doesn't make great movies anymore, but
Debatable. I mean,
Shots fired. It's
sorry. Or this.
No. This is this a safe space for your opinions, Eric? It's a safe space.
I didn't know of any. There are huge Sofia Coppola. I love Sofia Coppola's first two movies. Lost in Translation, fantastic. Virgin Suicides, fantastic. But
we'll go to bat for Marie Antoinette.
Okay, that's like, what is that?
Great
05
soundtrack.
mid-aughts?
It does have a great soundtrack, which we've covered on the show. It's really wonderful. I love to see Air show up. I love hearing Talisman in any capacity. I think they show up on the soundtrack as like French band or something. It's like because it's such an early use of them as a needle drop. I think at this point nobody really knows who Air is. So that was kind of a nice little treat in revisiting this movie, seeing some of those, as you said, like I think really early instances of using songs and groups and bands that became really popular later.
Natalie Imbruglia is in it too. She's got which is weird because it's not like, you don't think of Natalie Imbruglia singing electronic dance pop. But if you actually listen to her first album, now I'm outing myself as a big Natalie Imbruglia fan, but if you listen to her first album, there's actually a lot of trip-hoppy electronic elements. Obviously, Torn doesn't have that in there, which is the song that everybody knows from her.
And Torn is also a cover.
Yes, it is. So maybe that's why but that was the big song, right? And I think I love her song in the Go soundtrack because it's kind of focuses on the beats and also her voice, which I think is underrated.
So the soundtrack supervisor for this movie, her name is Julianne Jordan. I think it might have been her like maiden name back in 1999, but she's now known as Julianne Jordan. She's worked with Doug Liman his entire career, so she worked with him on Swingers, so we can blame her for bringing swing music into high schools in the late 90s. Born Identity, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Edge of Tomorrow. She was also the soundtrack supervisor for the 2018 Stars Born, for the first Trolls movie, the Alvin and the Chipmunks franchise in the 2000s, and the Pitch Perfect franchise. So she is known for, doing blockbusters now. And this was kind of her humble beginnings.
A lot of music-based movies. Oh, I think of Pitch Perfect and Alvin and the Chipmunks. They all circle or center around music.
Yeah, not so much the Doug Liman movies after this. When he went full action, like there's not a lot of needle drops in like the Bourne movies and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's true. Edge of Tomorrow. Yeah, Edge of Tomorrow has a great song from M83. But no, wait, sorry, I'm getting mixed up with Oblivion. Never mind. Yeah, Edge of Tomorrow doesn't have any needle drops. I'm sad that you didn't love the swinging movement in your high school days.
I'm sure
you want to speak more on that?
I'm sure I liked it more then than I admit to now. But I remember like they were playing like Brian Setzer Orchestra like dances and stuff.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I remember that too. I feel like there should be a class action lawsuit from people our age against like the song Zoot Suit Riot.
Yeah, you didn't have a big shirt, Cherry Poppin' Daddies.
Cherry Poppin' Daddies, yeah. Exactly. No, I think we're all like, still mildly traumatized by that phase of, dudes showing up to prom with like giant fedoras with feathers in them. What was that? A weird time.
It's the late aughts, or not the late aughts, the late 90s into the early aughts. But I do think it gets forgotten that time period, and I think maybe once again, rightfully so. But it's kind of like you mentioned, it's great to have a time capsule to kind of just jump into that and see that there's some cool people in there. Maybe they weren't acting particularly cool, but
maybe it was a reaction to the Y2K fear, like, oh no, we're gonna lose like all electricity and all records of money. Let's just go back to the 1930s and just swing dance away.
Right. Well, you had like that subculture that was looking backwards, and you had sort of rave culture that seemed to be looking forward. So there was a little bit of both. Y2K was a really weird time of tension and trends that I think spoke to that tension. So very odd time. It's very odd to look back on and hard to describe. But I think this movie is a really good representation of it. I think it's one of those films that if somebody asked, what was 1999 like? What was it like? It's maybe this, and it's Can't Hardly Wait. Throw that in there, What were the songs like? What were teenagers like? okay, well, here's your closest Hollywood approximation, facsimile of what was going on.
And it's got a lot of different people, right? You got Sarah Polley, who's kind of the indie cool in the late 90s. But then you got Katie Holmes, who's like the Dawson's Creek. Everybody knows her, is pretty cool. And then you have, Scott Wolf. Like, you have a very combination of different people. Like, I love that you mentioned Jay Moore, because Jay Moore was all over the late 90s. And I don't even know what happened to him, unfortunately. But great in Suicide Kings. Great in that Jennifer Aniston movie, which I can't picture perfect. And then just kind of just
He
faded
was in
away.
absolutely everything for about 3 years and then seemed to drop off the face of the earth, which is really weird. The Jay Moore effect.
I think it's the stand-up comic thing. Like, they try to push a stand-up comic really hard into Hollywood, and they're everywhere for like a couple of years. Like, remember like when Dane Cook was in everything?
Yeah, same deal. They tried to make Dane Cook happen, and Dane Cook did not happen. Not Harry Potter Daddy.
Very, very funny story. I was after college, I was working at the Apple Store in Irvine Spectrum, and they have a improv comedy club there in the mall.
In the mall is the best part.
In the Irvine Spectrum, there's a improv comedy.
Yeah, and he was gonna
Not
perform
normal.
there, and so like in the middle of the day, because he's not gonna be there, and comedy shows happen late at night, but he was strolling through the mall with Nikki Cox. Remember her? They were together for a long time. So like he was taking her shopping, and I was like, oh, it's Jay Moore outside of Fredericks of Hollywood with his girlfriend.
She was, wasn't she going out for a time with Bobcat Goldthwait? You guys remember that when she was going out with Bobcat Goldthwait?
Was she with him? I know that she was in that show with him.
I think they were. I just remember that. Cause really, like, wow, like that. He's really.
Punching above his weight.
Yes, way above his weight. Yeah, he's like a feather going to heavyweight. Nothing speaks more of subversive stand-up comedy than having a comedy club at the Irvine Spectrum. I feel like that's like as yuppie as it gets,
Yeah, for those of you not from Orange County, the Irvine Spectrum is the most sanitized place on earth. It is the most suburban outdoor mall that you could possibly envision.
Yeah, are we all from LA here or from the Southern California area? Because I did want to mention, like, I do think Go is great too, because in so many movies I don't know, I feel like LA tends to get short shrift, especially in TV, because everyone's always thinking about New York, New York, New York. And I feel like I love Go because it gets so much of LA. Like, I used to have to go to the hospital near the Johns that Sarah Polley works in.
Oh,
and
wow.
that was right next to the hospital that I would go, or that I was actually born in, because that's like on Vermont in Echo Park. And I don't know, I just feel like just watching Go, I'm like, oh, I know all these different places that they're going to. That's the airplane hangar and the Torrance Airport, and
I absolutely. Torrance
I think so.
Airport is such a great name drop. Shout out to the Torrance Airport. So what's I think great about it too is nothing really gets made in LA these days. There are LA used to be a place where everybody shot, and now it's a place where production is sort of collapsing. So to see it depicted in this way is kind of like weirdly refreshing. There's also a lot of Las Vegas in this movie because you toggle between the different storylines, and you get Vegas storylines as well, where Taye Diggs simply deserves better friends. Is sort of the takeaway that I had from that. So it's great. John August, the screenwriter for this film, has said that a lot of the inspiration came from him living next to this Ralph's that was sort of the rock star Ralph's, which a bunch of like trying to make it musicians in LA. And so a lot of the inspiration came from him wondering like, hey, I wonder what their lives are like after hours. And he's also said that, a lot of the screenwriting, he admits, comes from the popularity of Pulp Fiction and that sort of intersecting and nonlinear storytelling, giving him permission to fuck it up a little bit and rewrite his script. So the fact that it's like diet Pulp Fiction is not on accident.
I called it Temu Pulp Fiction.
Temu Pulp Fiction, diet Pulp Fiction. I mean, I think you can't really get around that, right? It is what it is.
I actually think that this movie spiritually has more in common with the Coen brothers' Burn After Reading.
Oh, interesting.
Because I feel like everyone in this movie makes like the worst possible decision they could. And that's kind of how Burn After Reading is. Like, everyone's kind of an idiot.
Yeah, that's true. Burn After Reading is everyone's an idiot except for and the smart people in Burn After Reading are miserable people, like just mean, miserable. Because like John Malkovich, I think in Burn After Reading, I forgot his character's name, is pretty intelligent.
That monologue at the beginning where he's like, "Of course you think I'm an alcoholic because you're a fucking Mormon."
Yeah, I mean, he's just an asshole. That's kind of, I mean, which is probably worse than being an idiot. I don't know, but
Right. But, I feel like there's a lot of that same energy where everyone is kind of like selfish and stupid at the same time. And a lot of these things happen and because everyone is selfish and stupid.
yeah, and you kind of are forgiving about they're more likable, I think, than Burn. Well, I love Burn After Reading, by the way, but I think in Go they're a little bit more likable and relatable because their selfishness is understood because I think most of the characters are probably in their mid-20s and younger.
Right.
So I think we just assume, oh yeah, and especially if we're growing up at the time, we're like, oh yeah, why wouldn't you do that? Because you wanted, like the best for you, right? I think just with the fact that Sarah Polley is going to leave Katie Holmes as collateral so that she can do this drug deal and just leave her in the house of a drug dealer. Like, I mean, come on, that's not particularly a loyal friend.
Sure. I mean, or in the case of Simon, right? When he goes to Vegas, why wouldn't you have a threesome, start a hotel fire, and then shoot a bouncer in the arm? Why wouldn't
Yeah, I
you
mean,
do all those things in rapid succession? Seems fine.
that's what you
Steal
do
a
in Vegas
car.
in the 90s. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just Vegas. Just Vegas, man. Just
Yeah, and put it all on the drug dealer's card, right? Your drug dealer friend's card, and think that it's not going to come back to you.
I think we'd be remiss if we didn't spend a minute ruminating on Len's Steal My Sunshine being the needle drop when they steal a car.
Oh, and also it's
Can we have a minute for that
The-
needle drop?
it is the breakout song from this soundtrack. Because like you said, everyone was like, ooh, a new No Doubt song is going to be on the Go soundtrack. That was like the big sell. And then Steal My Sunshine came out and kind of like took all the shine away, pun intended.
That was a great song. That definitely encapsulates the late 90s and that time period of just like overly positive, sunshiny like emotions. Did you know that I don't know if anyone's seen the Steal My Sunshine video, but their brother and sister, I think that's also really a weird dynamic to watch a brother and sister in that way.
That I did not know. That is very weird. I was just thinking of the bucket hats.
Oh, yeah.
Recently on Threads, the director of that video did a whole thing about how difficult it was to get that whole video made and the split screens and stuff. Like their label didn't want it. And he just did this like huge, like, this was my TED Talk on the Len Steal My Sunshine video.
You wouldn't think that video would inspire a whole TED Talk, but it's quite forgettable aside from the kind of pseudo-incestuous thing going on between the
bucket
two lead
hats.
singers. And the bucket hats,
There's something about Steal My Sunshine and maybe bucket hats as well that seem to be cyclical, though. There's something about that song, kind of like Smash Mouth's All-Star, that seems to re-enter the zeitgeist every 10 or so years. Don't ask me why.
Is that what you were rocking when you went to the Renaissance Fair? You just
The
rocked
bucket hat?
Yeah, bucket hat with the princess outfit.
Corset, Birkenstocks.
Yeah,
That's the
crushed
look,
it.
Eric. That's the
Yeah.
cosplay.
It's funny because like every year, people will be like, what was the song of the summer? And on one of the music sites that I go to, someone will say, for the 25th consecutive year, it is Steal My Sunshine by Len.
That's an amazing gag.
This is Jason Momoa, and I'll be your finance professor today. Welcome to Banking Smarter 101 with Chime. Bam! First lesson, sign up for Chime and set up direct deposit. You'll be joining millions of members banking fee-free. Second lesson, get cash back on eligible purchases while building credit and a higher APY on your savings. That's how you bank smarter this season. Fa-la-la-la-la, class dismissed. Join Chime today.
Chime is a financial technology company, not a bank. Banking services and a secure Chime Visa credit card provided by the Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A. Members FDIC. Optional services and products may have fees or charges. Details at chime.com/fees-info. With a qualifying direct deposit, earn 1.5% cash back on eligible secure Chime Visa credit card purchases. On-time payment history may have a positive impact on your credit score. Results may vary. APY means annual percentage yield. Learn about credit building and more at chime.com.
Well, I love that song. I do love the No Doubt song as well, even though I think you're right. It comes at the way end, and it's like, oh, just play this like to end the movie and go to the credits. But I think maybe the No Doubt song didn't totally fit the mood of the movie as much as obviously like the Len song and all the other Rave songs.
Yeah, so speaking of the rave music, so this film is scored by BT, who also has like a song on the soundtrack. Like he was everywhere in 1999. So this is right before he would work with NSYNC on Pop, but he had like songs on like every soundtrack.
I don't even know who BT is. I didn't know that he did the soundtrack, like where he was responsible for the entire score. I just think BT raves, even though is that really it's like more electronic. I don't really know the difference, to be honest. That was such a bad 90s kid, maybe. But what's the distinction between a rave music and electronic music? Sorry, did I throw a question?
Look at the spinning beach ball that we both
just
had up over our heads. Either best rave. Like, is it the BPM? Like, what is it? Is it simply where it takes place? I'm being completely serious. Is it simply?
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, electronic music can be played at a rave,
right? But it's not in its own respect a genre of music. It's simply like you're playing EDM at a rave, right? Is that it?
It's EDM before it was called EDM.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what my question was. Like Swedish House Mafia, like is that rave music? Like they're all electronic, right? So I was just asking that because maybe that's what distinguishes this movie in that time period is. And I know they still have raves now, but in that time period, raves were actually cool and they were like the thing that nobody was doing, or at least maybe earlier than that. And maybe that's the distinguishing factor is like when people go into this dirty warehouse that they're not supposed to be in and they're playing EDM and just dancing on X.
Yeah, because didn't Coachella start as a rave?
Did it? Oh, I that's a really dirty rave. I don't know if I choose to go into the desert in Indio and dance my heart away in like the mudslides of Indio.
But I think that was kind of the vibe, right? That it was like, okay, you have to go to a place that's either remote or derelict or like the cops can't find you. Like that is the best case scenario for your whatever off the grid rave, right? I was not a raver. Ryan, I don't think you were a raver either, right? Look at us being like good kids in 1999. So I don't know this from firsthand experience, but I'm pretty sure that was the point, is to just not get caught doing things and to not have to have permits.
So like Coachella was like Burning Man, but Radiohead would play there, right?
Yeah,
like
I think like before Golden Voice got a hold of it, it was simply like DJs was
and
kind
Perry
of
Farrell.
my impression.
Perry Farrell did have some crazy EDM music, I think, in 2000 or 2001. Like, he had this album that was all EDM'd out. But my sister used to go to Coachella every year before she got married, and she would invite me every year. And my reason for not wanting to go, which is the most OCD reason imaginable, was I just did not want to get dirty. I'm like, I don't want to be around a bunch of people where there's all this, like, dirt. And she's like, what? Like, that's your reasoning? And the sad thing is, strangely enough, my family actually had a house in India. It was like their vacation house. And so that's where my sister would stay. And it was within walking distance of where Coachella was, like the Indio fairground or whatever.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow,
and
Eric. I'm kind of mad at you. Like, I'm kind of mad.
Yeah,
What
it's pretty
year
pathetic.
was this? What year would this be?
This would be in the early to mid aughts.
There would have been some really good sets.
Oh, there was.
Nicole's about to drop off this call.
Okay, I got a worse.
A walking distance house? You could have had it so good, Eric. You could have had stories for the children.
Well, okay, I have a worse one. Is that the one year that I really should have gone? My two favorite music groups were playing. My two favorite bands of all time are Massive Attack and Depeche Mode, and they were there at the same time. Depeche Mode was closing. They're the closing act or the lead, or not the headliner. Gosh, my vocabulary has just disappeared. And Massive Attack was somewhere in like the dance tent. And I still didn't go. I was just like, oh, you know why? Because a friend of mine, or my girlfriend at the time, her friend had come back from Coachella at one time, and maybe this was Burning Man. No, I'm pretty sure it was Coachella. And she came back caked in dirt. And I've never gotten that out of my head, is that she came back caked in dirt to where my girlfriend was like, no, we're not letting you into the house. Go to the backyard and we'll hose you down. And even when we were hosing her down like she was in county or something, the dirt was barely coming off. I'm like, do we need to like scrub you? So I actually had to have a harder, like more water pressure just to like shoot that stuff off. So yeah, so that's probably why I didn't go to Coachella all those years. I just didn't want to get caked in dirt.
Okay, so I think we've established that nobody on this call would be fit to go to the Merry Xmas Super Rave from Go. I feel like all of us would have been bad candidates.
Correct.
Yeah. I would have been, I actually think I would have gone as Sarah Pauli. I would have tried to sell drugs there. So I'm not much of a fun-loving person, but I am like, oh, do I need this to survive and pay my bills? I will do this. Can I sell cough drops or whatever she was selling? What,
Right.
Allergy medicine. Will I do that?
Medicine.
Yes, I will.
You're like, this
Yes.
seems like a good business idea. It just makes fiscal sense for me to be at the Merry Xmas Super Rave tonight.
That's what I would do. I'm not very good at having fun, but I am very good at making bad decisions that cause me to get hit by a car and, get chased by drug dealers.
I do like how she only needs like $150 or something to pay rent. And like,
Right. I was astounded by this. I'm like,
this
where
is
are
the
you-
journey that she decides to take
In LA.
Yeah.
in LA.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's maybe she's in a room with like 4 other people.
That's true. She didn't explain what her living situation was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like my favorite line from the movie that hopefully I'll remember it. Is where Katie Holmes is upset at her because she's like, I don't want to be an accessory, and she's like, no, you know that bracelet on on your wrist? That's an accessory. You're just some chick sitting in an apartment. And for some reason, every time I heard that line in the theater, or when I see it like on DVD or something, or on streaming, like I laugh. I just think it's so randomly funny. And all props to John August, because I think John August is a great writer, and I do think that was probably one of his first.
That is his
scripts that he
first
wrote?
official script.
Yeah, and so I'll watch or listen to Script Notes, which I think is a great podcast for screenwriting, the one that he does with Craig Mazin. Another Craig Mazin is all over Mythic Quest. He's a story consultant on Mythic Quest.
Oh, nice. I'll have to
Yeah,
check it
so
out.
wow.
and it's funny to see their interaction. Not to go all the way back to my book, but their interaction is very. Craig Mazin's a baboon, and John August is a panda. And anyone who's read my book, they know those personality types get along well together, but they're also very, very different. And you can see that when you listen to the podcast.
John August of Big Fish fame, which is one of my favorite movies.
Right. It's a
Big
wonderful
Fish,
movie.
That's I was gonna say Johnny Depp. That's not right. Tim
No.
Burton.
Who stars in that movie, Nicole?
A little actor by the name of Ewan McGregor. You may know him.
Are you big Ewan McGregor?
I am. It's become kind of an embarrassing long running joke that someday we're gonna get Ewan McGregor on this podcast. It's never gonna happen, but dare to dream, right?
Ewan McGregor constantly frequents Ren fairs. Actually, goes dressed up as Gandalf. So just letting you
Don't
know,
tell me
like
that.
if you want to hook Ewan McGregor, go as a Hobbit, and he'll go as Gandalf, and he's just gonna eat that up.
I don't. You know what? I'm gonna have to upgrade my Amazon maiden costume then, if that's true. Is that true, Eric?
I don't know. He just walks in there with his Scottish accent, and he's like, he kills the Ren Fair. He just kills it.
You're so trustworthy and believable. It had me going.
Yeah, it comes from a lifetime of just absolute compulsively lying.
Yeah, so no wonder you like Go.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Everyone's lying. I guess that's the fun of Go, is that everyone's kind of like full of themselves and, don't even really know themselves. And I think that's always kind of interesting to see play out.
Yeah, but I mean, that tracks for like people in their like early 20s and teens. Like, they don't really know themselves.
Yeah, I don't even know myself, and I'm not in my early 20s and teens. So, part of the personality book is trying to help people really discover themselves. Because I think that like half the population kind of fits into a certain group of people. And that certain group of people's values kind of gets pushed on all of us. So I think when, the other half of the population sees that and we're like, oh, are we supposed to be that way? Maybe not. Maybe I'm supposed to be a different way. I don't know. And so I think it causes a lot of midlife crises. Yeah, I think we make bad decisions throughout our lives. I think it's just more highlighted in our teen years and young years because people only focus on young people. Even old people only want to focus on young people, I think. Like, I know I've written scripts before, and I've gotten them read by script supervisors. Like, can you age this person down? And I was like, I thought it would be cool to have someone in their 60s on a TV show. And like, yeah, make them in their late 40s. I'm like, okay, sure. Like, Hollywood is so like, just make everyone between 20 and 50, and everyone has to be around there. And we'll go with that. And I think that's probably the part of the problem. I think.
Yeah, if they're old, they better be funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess comics can get away with that. Or like Brad Pitt. Yeah, I guess he can get away with it because he's Brad Pitt and he still looks like he's probably 40 or whatever.
Is he 60?
I said that I don't even know how old he is. But I think, I was gonna say J-Lo is. I know J-Lo is like 50.
Oh my
and she doesn't
God!
look like,
Sorry,
yeah.
I looked it up and he's 61 years old.
There you
This
go.
is not relevant to anything, but he's 61 years old. He got that K-pop surgery, I think.
He can get it. Hey, I'm sure he can afford it. I'm sure
What's
he
that?
can
Or he's
afford it.
getting stem cells from somewhere else. and-
Something.
You could be like Demi Moore and get your surgery early, I think someone, I don't know who is telling me, I don't know why I'm talking about plastic surgery so much, but someone told me that Demi Moore's idea was to get surgery in early 30s, so then people get used to her face looking like that. So then it doesn't look like you have plastic surgery later on. Like if you do pull like a, I don't know, Courtney Cox or something and wait, and then you get the plastic surgery, you look like very, very different.
Well, I mean, it worked for her because they were just like, we're just going to put you in the substance.
Right.
Yeah, that's believable. Or you'd be like Jennifer Grey. Do you remember Jennifer Grey from Ferris Bueller's?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen her when she got the nose job?
Yeah, it changed her whole
Yeah.
essence. It's really unfortunate.
Yeah. But nothing that has anything to do with Go.
I don't know how we got here, guys.
Yeah.
I got kicked out, and now we're talking about nose jobs.
You know,
Yeah, let's talk about the Ren Fair again.
Bring us back, Ryan. Bring us back.
Okay, so let's get back to BT. So this is his first film score. He also scored Gone in 60 Seconds, the remake, with Nicolas Cage, which also has that really awesome song with M. Dottie from Soul Coughing. He also scored the first Fast and the Furious movie, and then apparently he scored Zoolander, but then like didn't finish the score, so like someone else took over at the end. Like that's pretty good for, you know, like a good 2-year run. And plus, you know, like I said before, like then there's the NSYNC collaboration, and I don't think that's anyone's favorite NSYNC song, but it was like everywhere.
Yeah, I mean that time period was all like that style, right? So I think that kind of it's just the Go soundtrack, and that's BT in general encapsulates the sound of that period.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't work with Madonna, because I feel like that should have happened in that time period.
When she did the Ray of Light album, I remember that was William Orbit who produced that, and his like that dancey kind of feel too, right? I guess they were all like all those producers were kind of doing things. Fatboy Slim, Trent Reznor actually has a soundtrack coming out. I'm not going to see that movie, and I don't want to dislike big budget movies. Yeah, and it's like this movie looks totally uninteresting as I saw the trailer, and then it says like, oh, music by Nine Inch Nails. Like, okay, that actually kind of makes it kind of interesting.
But yeah, like every Tron movie.
The music delivers, I will say. I will also never see the Tron movie or any Tron movie, but the music does deliver. And you do get those instances of horrible movie, pretty great soundtrack.
Yeah,
Tron, when you watch that trailer, it's great. The music.
Tron 1, Wendy Carlos. Tron 2, Daft Punk. Tron 3, Nine Inch Nails. Like, they've nailed the soundtrack composer each time.
Yeah, they are not underspending on their soundtrack.
Yeah, if you didn't have to see a movie, then it would actually be an enjoyable experience. Exactly, you just listen to the music. Can I just listen to the music?
Yeah, just give me like a Tron laser show in the theater.
Exactly.
Just give me
It's just been like a visualizer for 2 hours, and I would have been fine with that.
Some friends of mine, we hate watched, and this is gonna sound so terrible and so hating, but we hate watched that movie, This Is Me Now. Has anyone had the pleasure of watching that movie? Has anyone heard of that movie?
Is it the one by that author that did the no, it's not gonna come out right. I know.
It's worse than that. It's a J-Lo movie. It's from, do you count J-Lo as a writer?
This Is Me Now, the J-Lo movie that's that. I know
yes, I wanted to mention that just because when we were watching it, I'm like, this is just one long music video, and the music is not great, but there was one song that I really enjoyed. But it got so bad during that movie that we could no longer hate watch it, because part of the fun of hate watching is making jokes, because we're writers, or at least, we're all writers because we think we're funny. We're not necessarily funny, but we think we are. So we're all like, we want to like compete to say who would be the funniest like diss on this movie. But was written with so much earnestness. And the people, you could tell she was trying so hard and loved it so much, the ideas, that it just felt bad after a time. You know, when you have Fat Joe playing a therapist and he's doing lines, he's saying all these expos lines, like info dump lines, like, oh, so how did you feel about that? Tell me, how did that make you feel? Yeah, but I just brought that up because that's one of those things where even the soundtrack really couldn't save it, but there were a few good songs in there.
Yeah, she seemed deep in her own Delulu with that one.
She put all her money. I think she financed the whole thing.
That tracks.
Yeah, and it was based on her writings on her journal. So that's why I said, if you count her as a writer, do you count her journal as writing? That would, that counts.
Yeah. It's funny because even though this movie was, I mean, I haven't seen it, but I believe you that it's completely terrible. She does have some like delusional stands that will probably like fight you about it.
I don't. There it is star-studded though. There is like a moment that I'm gonna ruin it for anyone who's gonna watch this movie. There's supposed to be like a zodiac, so there's 12 like zodiac signs, 12 people representing the zodiac. And you look at the people that she got in this movie. Now, granted, they're all on blue screen, and I'm sure they never were in the same room with each other, and we're probably doing it on Zoom or something because the effects look bad. But it's like Jane Fonda is in there, Neil deGrasse Tyson. Like, she has all these random stars. Keke Palmer, like, Jay Shetty. Like, she got people. I mean, it's J-Lo, so she knows people. But I'm like, wow, I'm surprised all these people decided to do it. Keke Palmer actually took the role seriously and was actually the only one acting. But yeah, I guess, she's famous, so she can get who she wants on there.
Yeah, but this is another case of like, just because you can make this doesn't mean you shouldn't. Like, maybe you need to take some producer's notes.
Yeah, it's the Jurassic Park principle. You never stop to ask whether you should.
Oh, I thought you were thinking like they should not be making any more Jurassic Park films.
Oh, no, I just mean like, in Jurassic Park, it's like, you could, but you never stop to ask whether you should open the dinosaur park. And I feel like it's the same with this J-Lo movie. Maybe you didn't need to. Maybe you shouldn't have. Well,
I still feel that way with the Jurassic Park movies. Do you really need to make more? Like, I don't know. Like,
there's a strong argument to be made there too.
You're gonna run out of special supersized dinosaurs. That's what.
And people being like, I have a great idea. Let's open another dinosaur park.
Yeah.
Well, I do want to bring us back to Go. So we're recording this podcast on sort of in the holiday season, let's say. I think there's a strong argument to be made that Go is a Christmas movie of a sort. Do we feel like Go is a Christmas movie?
Oh, should I go first?
Oh, anybody.
I'll jump in. I do think that yes, I'm going to say yes, because I do think the only thing that you need for something to be a Christmas movie, aside from it occurring during Christmas, is family being a theme. And in a strange way, I do think Go, the theme is family. And now, obviously, it's not their actual family, unless you're talking about the last story. But I think friends are family in this instance. And I think at the end of the day, they all come together, whether it's the first, second, or third story. And Timothy Oliphant's wearing a Christmas Santa hat. So,
what more do you
too.
need than a shirtless Timothy Oliphant wearing a Santa hat, really?
With frosted tips.
With frosted tips.
Yes.
Very 1999. Ryan, is Go a Christmas movie to you?
Yes. There's Christmas music. It's not on the soundtrack, but there is Christmas music in the actual film. Like when Sarah Polley is working at the supermarket, there is a really cheesy version of Silver Bells. Also, there is Hark the Herald the Angels Sing, and Deck the Halls, O Come All Ye Faithful, the Nutcracker Suite. So there's quite a bit of Christmas music wedged into this film, even though it's not on the soundtrack. So while it doesn't give you the nice, warm holiday feels that a typical Christmas movie would give you, I believe this is a secret Christmas movie.
It's an alt Christmas movie. I think I fall down in the same place where it reminds me a little bit of Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, where it's not a Christmas movie in the sense that it is about Christmas or gives you Christmas fuzzy feels, but it takes place around Christmas. Go takes place primarily on Christmas Eve. There's a lot of trappings of Christmas. I feel like you could easily watch this in the lead up, in the holiday season, and you would be very satisfied.
I like that description of it being an alt Christmas movie. It's kind of like if they took the Waitress's song and turned it into a movie.
For sure.
That's kind of what it is. Like, it's a little cynical. It's a little like, it's not cheerful, but it's fun.
You're going to do this. You're going to do Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. You're going to finish it off with Die Hard. And that's your night, day. Be a long night.
Die Hard is my favorite Christmas movie, so I definitely would finish off the night with that. That
there
is
you go.
The number one Christmas movie of all time, and I'll stick to that.
There you go. People will debate you on that, but I also feel like it is a Christmas movie.
Also about the year 1999, if it's a movie in 1999 with young people, does Breckin Meyer have to be in it?
I love the Breckin Meyer drop. Breckin Meyer of Clueless fame and all those.
Oh, shout out to Frank Meyer, friend of the podcast, Breckin's older brother.
Yeah, Frank.
What is really uncomfortable about rewatching this after meeting Frank. Frank was on the podcast earlier this year. Is Breckin drops the N-word in this movie, and his brother is married to a African American woman now. So I assume that Breckin's probably like, oh, if you're gonna watch any of my old movies, don't watch Go.
Yeah, my earlier comment about Tay Diggs deserving better friends in this film stems very much from that moment in the car where that word is uttered. But I also think the late 90s were kind of obsessed with this idea of like the white boy who's really into hip hop culture. That was kind of its own weird trope.
Yeah, 99 was when Pretty Fly for a White Guy came out from The Offspring.
So there you go, right?
You know,
So,
yeah, it was definitely that time period. But
And Breckin's best friend Seth Green in Can't Hardly Wait.
right. It's basically that they're the same character almost. There's a lot of similarities between the two. And I think, not to say Breckin, Meyer, and Seth Green were interchangeable in the 90s, but you can easily see them being cast in the same roles.
yeah, who do you think does a stoner better?
Yes, I agree with you there.
99 was actually, I know this is getting off the topic of Go, but 99 was a great year for movies in general. I just want to say that. A friend of mine has a thing where he picks like the best movie of every year, or your favorite movie of every year that you've been alive. But it got to a point where we had to cheat and we had to pick one year as a glory year. And so everyone gets to get all the movies of that year. And I feel like out of 10 people, half the people chose 1999 as their movie. Now, I did not. I chose 1994. You know, Pulp Fiction, Shawshank Redemption, Professional, but 1999 was chosen by half the people. So just want to give a shout out to 1999 in general, Go being part of that year.
Shout out to 1999 in general. I love that.
Yeah.
And shout out to Go, aging way better than American Beauty.
Well, Go doesn't have any, 50-year-old guy lusting after a 17-year-old Mina Savari or however old she is there.
That was technically the best movie of 1999.
Yeah, and I think that one aged like milk. I do think Go, for any of its, criticisms of it being an imitation of Pulp Fiction or what have you, it is very fun and it is very well scripted and it's well directed. And at the time, although this is maybe that doesn't come through now, like it was very fresh and it was very inventive. And it felt like something that was capturing a moment of cool. So even if you weren't a raver, like the three of us on this call, you kind of felt like you got a little bit in on that moment.
Yeah, and Doug Liman did a lot of great work with his limited budget. The budget limited mostly because he spent most of it on the Vegas car chase portion of the movie, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Like
good investment, if you ask me.
Yeah, so great. But
and that was just part of licensing the Len song. That was part of that budget.
For bucket
Right.
hats.
It's like, we need to get the bucket hats and this Len song in there. And that,
this Len song is gonna get huge because
Yeah.
people are gonna love this car chase.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the rest of the movie was made for like 1/3 of the budget, a lot of late hours and started Doug Liman's reputation of being kind of a difficult director.
Oh, did it? Like he was difficult on that. I didn't know that he was difficult on the set of Go. He's got a lot of young people he's working with.
Well, I guess it's just kind of a lot of long hours and stuff like that because a condensed shooting schedule with the lack of budget. But
and shooting at
it
night,
looks like they're
anytime
having
you're
a great
shooting-
time.
Anytime you're shooting at night, you're automatically going to be frayed. So,
Oh yeah, and I guess almost the whole movie is at nighttime.
yeah, the majority.
And I do think like with movies like that, like Pulp Fiction clones, I do think, like the writing is so important because I think the going to different perspectives and different point of views is really clever. And I think people can do it in a way where it's just more flash and not a whole lot of substance. But I do think Go, it actually works. Kind of like, I don't know if anyone's seen Weapons. I thought Weapons did a great job of this year of kind of doing that trope of, oh, we're going to do this person's perspective. Then we're going to this person's story and this person's story. But I do think if you do it right, then it is not just pure artifice. I think it does matter within the story and it does affect it in a positive way.
Yeah, we didn't see Weapons because that trailer was freaky.
You got to see Weapons, and I'm saying this as someone who is not a horror fan. And a friend of mine told my other friend. So my friend Katie, who wrote the Mythic Quest episode, we both do not like horror films. And a friend of ours was like, no, you got to see Weapons. And we're like, dude, it's like a total horror film. Like, look at the trailer. And then he's like, no, it's funny. It's a comedy. I'm like, it's a comedy? And so we go there and watching, hey man, like we pee in our pants during this. in this movie theater, it is your fault. But you'll enjoy it. Like I'm not a horror fan, and I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. Like there are some jump scares, but it's well done. It's not like shock horror or anything like that. It's great.
But is it funny?
In fact, yeah, it actually is in certain parts. It's like funny in that weird kind of subversive, not kind of subversive, very subversive. Kind of like if you felt that when in Pulp Fiction, when that guy gets his head blown off accidentally by John Travolta.
Very funny.
Yes, then you're going to find Weapons funny. Like, or when Brad Pitt gets his head blown off again in Burn After Eating. If you thought that was funny, you're going to think Weapons is funny.
All right.
Yeah.
I have heard that. And you know, like, I think like Ryan said, we're kind of weenies when it comes to horror, but we have a certain amount of tolerance. I have a certain degree of tolerance for, it just depends on the tone. I'm not going to see The Terrifier. You know what I'm saying? That's not for me.
I'm the biggest wimp of them all. So, and definitely you guys can watch Weapons if I can watch Weapons.
Last thing I want to talk about, Go, is speaking of funny things. Have you seen the Simpsons episode titled Trilogy of Error?
No, I haven't.
Like episode 12 or 13. So there is a Simpsons episode that is very much modeled after the movie Go. Not with like ecstasy and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But you have like 3 stories kind of intersecting from different characters' point of view. And there's a lot going on, and there is techno music in the background.
Was it specifically like, say, we're going to do a version of Go? Like with the techno music?
Yeah, the guy who wrote it has said that the Go is like the influence for why he wrote that episode.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I mean, if you can influence a Simpsons episode, there's not many movies that can do that. And I think, because the Simpsons already is like pop zeitgeist, right? And so that's pretty cool. Good for Go.
Yeah. So
good for John August and Doug Liman.
So here's your homework for after this podcast. Go watch your Mythic Quest episode, because I think it's great. And then go watch that Simpsons episode.
Oh, Hilton stay, your beds are soft and cozy. No lumpy couch, no stiff futon, no shower line at crack of dawn. Oh, Hilton stay, oh, Hilton stay.
When you want holiday comfort you can count on, it matters where you stay. Enjoy comfortable rooms and friendly service when you stay with Hilton instead. Save up to 25% this season when you book with Hilton. Hilton for the stay. Terms apply.
Yeah, I definitely need to watch that Mythic Quest episode, because that just, me not watching it makes me a bad friend. So I should watch. Though I did watch all of Side Quest, which my friend also wrote. So I do recommend anyone who hasn't seen Side Quest. It's fantastic. It's just 4 standalone episodes of Mythic Quest, or a Mythic Quest spinoff.
Yeah, I'm going to jump into that soon. So we got a new segment called Life in 3 Tracks. So you're going to take your life and you're going to pick a song for 3 different scenes. It is your... Let's see, there's your makeover scene, your romantic scene, and your action scene.
So, okay, so makeover, like what I'm getting made up, like Clueless or something. I'm like Brittany Murphy in Clueless is that that kind of makeover?
Yeah, like a montage of some sort of like, it could be either a makeover or like a buffing up of scene, or like some sort of montage.
This is going to be really random, but it fits my personality well. I'm going to pick Once in a Lifetime from the Talking Heads.
Okay.
Because in my mind, if I had my life and I had to do a makeover, to me, it's more of a spiritual, emotional, what the hell am I doing in my life kind of makeover. And like trying to reevaluate some of the things that I may have thought or I may have valued, and trying to understand what I really value. And I feel like Once in a Lifetime is a perfect song for that, because it's about a guy who's just like, wait, where am I, and what does it mean, and how did I get here, right? And maybe I shouldn't have done that, so maybe I'll need to do something else.
Okay, great choice.
Yeah, so I love the Talking Heads too, so I love that song.
Same here. So what do you want to do you want to do romantic scene, or do you want to do your action scene first?
Okay, let's do... I'm going to do the romantic scene. This is going to sound terrible, but I love Mezzanine. But then, I don't know, and I think romance, I don't want to automatically associate it with sex, but
yes, you Mezzanine don't have to do that.
But Mezzanine is a great album for that, and I think it was voted the best album to have sex with by, I forgot, like Rolling Stone or something. And it is one of my favorite albums. So I'm going to pick, as a needle drop from Go, even though it's not on the soundtrack, I will pick Angel from Massive Attack's Mezzanine.
Okay.
And for action, that's like something, I really love, I think Tarantino picks songs that are great almost all the time. I really love that pump up song from Kill Bill. I believe it's called something about humanity, something against humanity, but it's when the crazy 88s are walking in to the House of Blue Leaves. That is a great action. I mean, Kill Bill is my favorite action movie of all time. I think it's like B movie. It's the highest form of a B movie ever.
Right.
And I do that song. I wish I had Battle Against Humanity. I think it's a Battle Against Humanity. And it's from Kill Bill soundtrack, Kill Bill episode 1 or part 1.
Is it Battle Without Honor or Humanity?
Oh, okay, there you go. Yeah. I got one of them right. I got humanity in there.
So, that's a great song too. So to recap, for his montage, he's doing Once in a Lifetime by the Talking Heads. And for his romance scene, Angel by Massive Attack. And then for his action scene, he's doing Battle Without Honor or Humanity from the Kill Bill soundtrack.
They're really good choices. That's a great movie.
You. I was literally just trying to pick great soundtracks or songs from soundtracks. Even though I guess maybe Talking Heads, I can't think of a movie where that song has actually come up. But
it definitely gets used in trailers a lot.
Yeah. I remember, funny enough that you mentioned that. That's actually it's one of my favorite trailers of all time, which is not a really high acclaimed movie, but I enjoyed it. There's a movie called The Weatherman with Nicolas Cage, and it was like a reboot or a remake of It's a Wonderful Life. And in the trailer for that, they used that song. And so I picked it as like a makeover song because I do think it's like kind of like reevaluating your life. And for me, that's the most important kind of makeover is like trying to figure out whether you're going on the right path or whether you've gone the wrong path and reevaluating that.
I love that. Great choice.
Well, thank you for playing Life in 3 Tracks. And before we close things up, what animal am I, Eric?
Oh, man. Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a couple questions?
Sure.
Were you a good student? Were you
Yes.
good in student school? Do you like to read?
Yes.
Are you self-loathing?
Yes.
Oh, you answered that really quickly. You might be a panda. Have you ever seen Ally McBeal?
It's been a while, but I have seen
You see
episodes.
naked babies sometimes just in the corner.
Yeah. Do you ever visualize naked babies? No. Ally McBeal is a panda. So she's like kind of self-loathing, but pandas are very like they're shamans. So they're like kind of like self-knowledge is their number one value. So that they're always trying to figure out more about themselves. Pandas are much more studious than some of the other shaman types. They're very good one-on-one, asking people questions. They are really good listeners. And they're very tied into their emotions. So that would be my guess. I don't know if that's true. You can take the test and see, even though the test is not always right. I always recommend reading the descriptions and, seeing if it fits better.
Yeah,
Or
pick
like
up the
another
book,
episode.
I'm sure. I feel like we're rushing you on this. We're rushing these evaluations.
I love doing quick reads though. Like that's I love it. Like, so you might not be a chimpanzee, you might be a baboon. Like I would have because those do appear similar in a lot of ways.
Yeah, do I have to be simian? Is that like it?
Yeah, you're stuck. You're stuck doing
Apparently,
that.
that's my wheelhouse.
Well, Ewan McGregor is a baboon, so
Wait, really?
no.
No, come on.
I just want to throw that in there just to.
Twice
You-
in one podcast.
But you don't want to do that anyway, because you don't want to be, I don't say lusting, but attracted to someone who's the same animal. That's really
Oh, is
off-putting.
that weird? Is that bad?
Generally, yeah. Like, I mean, do you ever annoy yourself? Like, I feel like if you're around yourself, someone like you, people get competitive or your strengths just, it's like a magnet where you're just like repelled from each other. You kind of want opposites attract.
Okay.
I will say though that with personalities, it's not complete opposites because I do think people have to communicate at the same level. And so that's super important. But the opposites within that communication structure tend to match up better.
Very interesting.
Yeah. I don't know what Ewan McGregor is. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Okay, we'll find out for me, and then we'll do the same.
Okay, I'll read up on Ewan McGregor. I've only seen him in Trainspotting. Oh no, I saw him in Obi-Wan Kenobi. Oh, actually no, I've seen him in a lot of stuff. Never. I've seen like Star Wars and
You saw him in a lot of stuff. You probably,
Yeah.
Moulin
He was-
Rouge.
I haven't seen Moulin Rouge.
You
That's
see
one
Moulin
I
Rouge?
I don't. Okay, this is going to be weird for someone on a Soundtrack Your Life podcast, but I don't particularly
You'll
love.
like Baz Luhrmann. Yeah.
I do not. Even though the Romeo and Juliet soundtrack, awesome, fucking awesome.
Fire.
But
Yeah.
I'm not a Baz Luhrmann fan. Yeah, no.
That's okay. Safe
Yeah.
space, Eric.
You know, I don't want to sound like a hater. I just hated on J-Lo. I hated Baz Luhrmann, but I love lots of things too. You know, I love Krzysztof Kieslowski. I love Quentin Tarantino. So
You don't have to love everything.
yeah, I think it's okay to be a little discerning sometimes.
Oh, yeah. You can't trust somebody who loves everything.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
true.
yeah,
You can't.
and you also can't trust the people who say that art is subjective. Because I do think it is subjective at a certain level, but I think the people who say that, it's like, oh, it's just everyone, it's your opinion. I was talking to someone, he was like, oh, well, art is subjective. I'm like, that's spoken like someone who's never had to make money doing something creative. Art is not always subjective. And I told them like, hey, like that's like if someone says they like Pauly Shore movies better than Martin Scorsese movies, I'm sorry, but that's just objectively wrong.
Right. For sure. There's a standard.
Yeah. That was
That's
my one
true.
rant.
Yeah, I mean, there's a baseline for objectivity with art, but that's a different podcast. But anyways, thank you so much, Eric, for being on our podcast.
Oh, thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, no, I was just saying, I hope you finally meet Ewan McGregor, and I hope that you actually get a panda, so that will prove me correct in my quick, thin-sliced observation.
Yeah, we'll do a animal reveal episode on our Patreon, where I will read your book and I will announce what animal I am.
Oh, that would be cool. But only tell me if I was correct in my assumption. I was correct in my observation. Yeah, for Nicole, I feel like I'm safe with a baboon or chimpanzee. One of those two, I'm pretty sure. And I think panda for you is pretty good, Ryan.
All right. Well, I will read your book and I will let you know.
Sounds awesome.
So you can find Power of Personality wherever you get your books.
Yeah. If you want to get Amazon or like your local bookstore, you can order it from there. But if you want to give Jeff Bezos your money and want to make it fast, yeah, order it from Amazon.
And Eric, if people want to follow you or if they want to take the personality test on your website, what is that website?
It is utopiaproject.com, and that's YOU, like YouTube, utopiaproject.com. And yeah, take the test and see if you like it. And if you want to learn more about like life coaching stuff, that's strangely enough another website, projectutopia.com. People always ask why I have two websites. Like, oh, because one was worked better with the test and one did not. So yeah, so find me on either one of those sites.
Very cool. And you can find us on social media. We're on Instagram at SoundtrackCast and on Blue Sky at soundtrackyourlife.net. Take the personality test and let us know on social media what you got.
And watch Go. Watch Go.
And watch Go. Yeah. Watch it this Christmas.
That's great. Ewan McGregor's in it. He's got a cameo.
He is? No, I'm just kidding. I didn't fall for that one. That one I knew.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here. Wishing you a very happy half-off holiday because right now Mint Mobile is offering you the gift of 50% off unlimited. To be clear, that's half price, not half the service. And Mint is still premium unlimited wireless for a great price. So that means a half day, yeah? Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.